Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Vibe Channel, the place where you improve your English through real conversations. Today's topic is something very interesting and very important. We're talking about how to learn English in 2026.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited about today's discussion because learning English has changed so much over the last few years. The way people learned English in the past is very different from how people learn it today.
That's absolutely true, Emma. In fact, many people are still learning English the old way, and that's one of the biggest reasons they struggle.
Exactly. Many learners still focus only on grammar books and memorizing vocabulary lists. But in 2026, successful learners are using a completely different approach.
That sounds interesting. So, Emma, let me ask you the first question. What is the biggest mistake people make when learning English today?
Great question, Alex. The biggest mistake is that people try to learn English without using it in real conversations. They read books, watch grammar lessons, and memorize words, but they never actually practice speaking.
That makes sense. It's like trying to learn how to swim by reading a book, but never going into the water.
Exactly. Language is a skill, just like swimming or playing a musical instrument. You can't become fluent unless you practice it regularly.
So if someone wants to learn English in 2026, what should they focus on first?
The first thing they should focus on is listening and conversation practice. Listening helps your brain understand how real English sounds.
That's interesting because many learners start with grammar rules.
Yes, and that's the problem. Grammar is important, but it should not be the starting point. When children learn their first language, they don't start with grammar books. They start with listening.
That's a really good point. Children listen to their parents and people around them for years before they start speaking.
Exactly. And that's why listening is such a powerful tool for language learning.
So what kind of listening practice should people do?
One of the best methods is listening to real English conversations. For example, podcasts, interviews, and conversation videos.
Like the conversation we're having right now.
Yes, exactly. When learners listen to real conversations, they learn pronunciation, sentence structure, and natural expressions.
I think many learners worry about understanding every word.
That's another mistake. You don't need to understand every single word. The goal is to understand the main idea.
That sounds much less stressful.
Absolutely. Learning English should not feel like a stressful exam. It should feel like a natural process.
Let's talk about technology. In 2026, technology has become a huge part of language learning.
That's true. Today we have AI tools, language learning apps, and online communities where people can practice English every day.
So do you think technology makes learning English easier?
Definitely. In the past, learners needed to travel to another country to practice English. But today, you can practice English with people from all over the world online.
That's amazing when you think about it.
Yes, and the learners who take advantage of these tools improve much faster.
So if someone is watching this video right now and they want to improve their English quickly, what should they start doing today?
They should start with a simple daily routine.
What does that routine look like?
It's actually very simple. First, listen to English every day. Second, speak English every day. Third, learn new vocabulary through real conversations.
That sounds much easier than studying grammar for hours.
Exactly. The goal is to make English part of your daily life.
I think many learners also struggle with confidence.
Yes, confidence is a huge issue. Many people are afraid to speak because they think they will make mistakes.
But mistakes are a part of learning, right?
Absolutely. In fact, mistakes are one of the best teachers.
That's a great way to think about it.
When you make a mistake, your brain learns how to correct it.
So the key message here is don't be afraid to speak.
Exactly.
Speak as much as possible.
Emma, let me ask you another question. What is the fastest way to become fluent in English?
The fastest way is consistent daily practice.
So even 15 or 20 minutes every day can make a difference.
Yes, absolutely. Small daily practice is much better than studying for 5 hours once a week.
That's a really powerful tip.
Consistency is the secret to language learning.
Emma, our discussion so far has been really helpful. We talked about listening practice, daily conversations, and using modern tools. But I think many learners are still wondering one thing. What is the perfect daily routine for learning English in 2026?
That's a great question, Alex. The good news is that the perfect routine is actually very simple. You don't need expensive courses or complicated systems. What you need is a consistent daily habit.
So if someone wants to improve their English quickly, what should they do every day?
I usually recommend a 3-step routine. Step 1 is listening. Step 2 is speaking. Step 3 is learning new vocabulary from real conversations.
Let's talk about the first step. Why is listening so important?
Listening trains your brain to recognize English sounds. When you listen regularly, you start understanding natural pronunciation, rhythm, and sentence patterns.
So learners should listen to English every day?
Exactly.
Even 10 or 20 minutes a day can make a huge difference over time.
That sounds very manageable. Now, let's move to step 2, speaking practice.
Speaking is where real improvement happens. Many learners understand English, but feel nervous when they try to speak.
Yes, I hear that from learners all the time. They say, I understand English, but I can't speak.
That happens because they don't practice speaking enough. The only way to become confident in English is by using it regularly.
So learners shouldn't wait until their English is perfect?
Exactly.
If you wait for perfection, you will never start speaking. The best approach is to speak first and improve along the way.
That's a powerful mindset.
Absolutely. Remember, every fluent speaker you know made thousands of mistakes while learning.
That's actually very encouraging.
Is.
Mistakes are not failures. They are part of the learning process.
Now let's talk about vocabulary. Many learners try to memorize long word lists.
Yes, and that method rarely works. Instead of memorizing isolated words, learners should learn vocabulary in context.
What do you mean by that?
Learn words inside real sentences and conversations. When you hear a word used in a natural situation, it becomes much easier to remember.
That makes sense because language is all about communication.
Exactly. Language exists to help people communicate ideas.
Emma, let's talk about motivation. Many learners start learning English with excitement, but after a few weeks they lose motivation.
That's very common. Learning a language is a long journey, so motivation is very important.
What advice would you give to someone who feels stuck?
I would tell them to focus on small progress instead of perfection. If you learn just a little every day, your progress will add up over time.
That's a great point. Even small improvements can become big results.
Exactly.
Imagine improving your English just 1% every day. After a few months, your progress will be incredible.
I really like that idea.
Another great strategy is to make English part of your daily life.
How can learners do that?
They can watch English videos, listen to English podcasts, read simple articles, and practice speaking whenever possible.
So instead of studying English only in a classroom, they bring English into their everyday activities.
Exactly.
The more you surround yourself with English, the faster you improve.
Emma, before we finish today's discussion, I want to ask you one final question. If you could give one piece of advice to English learners in 2026, what would it be?
My biggest advice would be this: don't be afraid to speak. Confidence comes from practice, not perfection.
That's a powerful message.
If you practice speaking every day, even for a few minutes, your confidence will grow naturally.
And over time, those small daily conversations will turn into fluency.
Exactly.
Well, Emma, this has been a fantastic discussion.
I completely agree. I hope our listeners learn some useful ideas about improving their English.
Let's quickly summarize the key points.
Sure.
First, listen to English every day.
Second, practice speaking regularly.
Third, learn vocabulary through real conversations.
And most importantly, stay consistent and never give up.
English fluency doesn't happen overnight, but with daily practice, it becomes much easier.
Exactly.
Remember, every small step brings you closer to your goal.
And that brings us to the end of today's conversation.
Thank you so much for listening and practicing English with us.
If you enjoyed this conversation and want more English speaking practice, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next lesson.
Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep speaking English every single day.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
See you in the next conversation.